everybody. Hi, it's Becky from PowerToolsWithThread.com. That's my blog. Well, 'tis the season for toilet paper. I don't know why, but these are a lot of fun. You can also use these at like office Christmas parties where they have it's a hidden white elephant and it passes around and passes around. Well, inevitably, whoever gets this, nobody steals it from them. But what I would do at my office is I would tuck a $20 bill in there if that was the amount of money that we could spend on that gift. And then the person who got stuck with it at the end of the game, I'd go up to them and tell them, hey, there's 20 bucks in there for lunch. They always felt like they made out. I had taken a roll like this, it says here's your crappy gift, down to the coast last weekend, and my husband gave it to his buddy as an early Christmas present. Well, another guy was there, thought it was absolutely hilarious, and put in an order for 5 of them. And he said, how much per roll? And I said, $10. He's like, okay. So these, you know, I've heard good and bad. Some people say they sell, some people say they don't. I think it's just, it depends on the neighborhood. A friend of mine made me one, had a real cute, this is from Katie, real cute little pair of frogs on there that say, hey, what you doing? And just adorable. This sits on the back of my toilet in my master bath, and it has for over a year now. And I even gave a roll to a friend of mine for her 50th birthday. It was a gag gift, and it had a beautiful Designs by Juju monogram on it. And you know, it was a big joke, haha, then, and to this day it still sits in her bathroom on her bath tank. So, you know, you never know how this is gonna work. But anyway, I have got 2 more of these to make. I've got 3 done. And so I just wanted to kind of walk you through my process and tell you the way I'm doing this. The supplies that you need would be toilet paper that is more strong than soft. So the Charmin Strong works well. Actually, the cheaper the paper, the better to a point. I don't recommend just single ply, like the cheapest you can buy. I don't recommend that. That doesn't hold up well. This Charmin Strong works really well. The Walmart brand in the red package works well as well. That one works pretty good. You know, you just have to try it. The ones that are in the blue packaging, those get a lot of fuzz, and that's too much fuzz for your embroidery machine. I don't think you would like that. And they have a tendency to fuzz up around the needle and all of that. So you're better off with the red packaging. That's here in the US, you guys. So, and then once you get the stitching done, then it's just a matter of a little cello wrap and a bow, and you are in business. The bags, the cello bags that I got have the square bottom, and I got the 8-inch by, I think they're 8 by 11-inch bags, and you might have to unroll some of the paper in order for it to fit down inside. I am going to be doing it on my multi-needle, the Brother PR 1055. I'm using a dime monster snap hoop, a magnetic hoop for this. I'm using sharp needles, and I'm using either Dime's Exquisite or Isacord thread. So this is how I normally would embroider anyway. And then I have a Filtech magnetic 70 weight bobbin in the bobbin case. In the hoop, you're going to want a heavyweight cutaway. The heavier the stabilizer, the better. It just is going to give this really soft tissue something for the threads to hold on to and stand up. I have not found a need for a topper, like a water-soluble topper like you would do on a towel. The threads seem to stand up just fine on this. Some toilet paper, if it has designs, it has indentations on it, and so kind of keep an eye on that when you're stitching. You want to make sure that you are stitching it right side up. And I will normally peel away the piece that has the little glue on it that holds it together, and then tear that off, and then measure your square So this one is a 4x4. So I'm using a 4x4 design. That's what this is right here. This is a 4x4. Fills it up really nice, and it still gives me, oh, a 1/2 inch top and bottom. And it looks just fine. So I'm gonna set this hooping up for 2 because I can do 2 at once, but I'm only gonna do, because of the size of the hoop, I'm only gonna do 1 design at a time, and then this one will finish, and then I'll use the camera system and center it exactly on the second one again, and then stitch that one out. It's just easier that way than trying to set 2 of them into embroidery software and getting them positioned perfectly. That can be kind of difficult when you do it like that. So I normally roll off 10 to 15 squares, and just a good, just a good size strip like this, and tear that off clean. And then I'll fold 2 of them down like that, and then 2 more. And the way I'm gonna stitch this is it's gonna be stitched on the second one from the end, okay? That's the easiest way to do it. If you need help with alignment, you can fold the squares in half one way and in half the other way and press and get a center on it. You can use a friction marker, and you can mark on the toilet paper and get your crosshair there. If you put a sticker on it, you run the risk of peeling the paper up, and you don't want to do that. So I can just see where the fold was right here, and I can see that that is center. So I'm making sure that this folded part right here is to the inside, and then you can pin these to the stabilizer. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it like this so that the toilet paper is hanging off the front of the machine toward me. And I'm going to take some So-Tights magnets. These work really well for this. It's just something that's hard to pin. And I'm just going to put the bottom of the So-Tight underneath. You don't have to measure exact, because I'm going to use the camera system to place these on the screen in the embroidery machine. I'm just kind of, eyeballing it. It's just making sure that the So-Tight is not going to hit this 4x4 square anywhere. Now, because I've got it hanging off toward me, I need to make sure that the design is rotated properly so that the bottom of it is down here, okay? Because that's how it's going to roll off the roll. So I'm going to do the other one now. Great. That'll hold that just fine, just like that. Ready to go over to the embroidery machine. You can get these designs, usually you can find them on like Etsy. Okay, I'm going to come up 2 inches. And I'm going to come over 2 inches. I iron these flat when I get finished, and then the mark goes away with the iron. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I'm ready to go into the machine. Okay, I sent the design over wirelessly, so I'm going to touch the wireless button. And here's the single one right here. And I'm going to tell it set. And I need to rotate it 90 degrees that way. Yep, that works. And I'm going to tell it okay. And now I'm going to hit edit end. And now I need to tell it what spools to use for which colors. So I'm going to touch these 3 spools. And the word here's is in bright red. That is on spool number 10. And number 2 is your, and that's in black. That's spool number 5. The crappy word is in brown. That's on spool number 2. And the little arrow there, that's the bright red, that's 10. And gift is in green, which is spool number 1. and I'm going to tell it okay. So see how nice the multi-needle is. I'm going to tell it embroidery, and this is an 18-minute stitch out. I need to go back. I need to hit return. Tell it okay. I'm going to use the camera now and scan the hoop and tell it okay. So it's really nice to be able to go ahead and just set all of your colors ahead of time. I've got the Brother app on my phone, so if I'm walking around and something happens, it'll give me a notification. All right, so I need to move this. I need a crosshair, so I'm going to put that on there and tell it okay. And let me get my crosshair over the... That looks pretty good. I'm going to tell it okay. And that's it. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it stitch. I'm going to hit embroidery and lock and go. Okay, so it's going to stitch out. It's going to take 18 minutes, and I'll see you guys back here in a little bit. Alright, this just finished. I'm going to touch OK. And it turned out just perfect right here. And now I'm going to stitch it again. So I am going to take a picture of the background one more time. It's kind of hard to see. I am going to use my friction marker and put a little mark right at the bottom of the toilet paper and right at the top edges, so I can see it a little bit better when I scan. So I'm just going to touch the scanner button with the camera and tell it okay. See, and it's nice. So-Tite's magnets are not causing a problem at all. I'm going to put a link below. You can get So-Tites at 15% off with my coupon code PTWT15. Let's move this design. I can see the crosshair that I put on the paper. That's perfect. It's on there exactly where I want it. Okay, I'm going to touch embroidery. And another 18 minutes. Lock and go. I love this machine. Okay, we're all finished. So I'm going to take this out of the hoop or off the machine, and I'm just going to use my little Cricut iron and iron this and press it and get rid of the friction marker. Okay, now the reason you have this big long tail is so that it will wrap up inside. So what I'm going to do now is just lay this out and put this one on it. And line it up and then just roll it. And you want to roll it as straight as possible. It's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube. But once you get the hang of it, it goes pretty quick. And you want that tail long enough on the one that you stitched on so here's the flap, okay? Well, that's going to get wrapped up inside. And so it looks like you can't tell where the break was. You don't have to trim these. You don't have to trim the tails or the knots or anything. And then I like to use Scotch double-sided tape, and I'm going to pull off a couple inches of it. And I'm just going to put it right here on the end, right close to the edge. And then just roll this right over that taped edge. And that's it. I've got a little thread there I'm going to trim off. That looks really good. And then I take a little clear rubber band and make it so that it's smooth on the front right here. Push the sides in. There we go, and 25 inches of ribbon. I'm not good with tying bows. All right, and that's it. All done. And I've just got to put the other one in the bag and then I'll be all finished. So, hey, you know, 'tis the season, right? We'll talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Bye.